Alright, so we've got a terrain, or at least a ground to walk on, but let's look at it. It's just a big flat plane, right? And that's not the way the world is. The world is not flat, despite what flat earthers say, right? So we want to actually edit this terrain to move around in a more natural environment. And so to do that, first we click on terrain to make sure we have it selected, or just select it on your board here, and you'll see you have in your inspector a number of tools right here, and we don't have any tools selected by default. I'm going to click on the first one. This first one is create neighbor terrains, right? So if I zoom well out here, I could add another terrain next to it, right? I don't need to for this, but that's our first tool. The next tool is this really multi-purpose tool here. It's the brush tool, and you saw, I just real quick, because I didn't have it on default, you should probably have it at first. It'll say raise and lower terrain here, and then you have these brushes of various brush sizes. So what this does is it actually can help us craft a raise and lower this plane. So first you'll see that there is this brush size, right? And you see as I change the size, and remember everything's in meters here. Opacity will be how deep it gets. So I do this. So if I click once and once and once, right, I've created these little plateaus. When I overlap, it's bringing those things together. Now if I shift and click, I can actually remove area. And so this is really interesting, right? So we can see, we can start to use this to create different variants within our see if I just draw this and I'm just shift and clicking there, you'll see it comes out. Now that's not the only one we can do to move this to help us with this terrain, right? And remember, shift removes, and then clicking just shift clicking removes or lowers. So we can also in this do something like, well, there's a set height that's confusing. Stamp terrain is confusing, but probably smoothing things out you'll want to do, right? So if we smooth it out, right, if we can get some of that maybe sharpness away from us here that we were getting in the other one. So that's the other helpful thing. Raise or lower, we see we can change these different brushes and have very different effects of how we draw, right? Again, shift clicking will remove space here, and clicking. Now you can't go through. I'm shift clicking on this and it's not going below the plane. So if you wanted to say add a crater or something, you'd have to actually build stuff up so that we have a crater here. And so what I want you to do for the next few minutes before the next video is go ahead and create some terrain.